Before I ever saw Jonathan Roumie as Jesus in The Chosen, I never really knew who he was. And I know I'm not alone in this. Leave me a heart emoji below if you didn't know who Jonathan was before The Chosen. That's because his life before the show was anything but glamorous. He wasn't in blockbuster films or on the covers of magazines. In fact, he was living a quiet, humble life, just trying to get by, and praying hard that something would change. Today, we know that his prayers got answered, and he found the purpose of his life. But to understand Jonathan today, we have to look back at his past and see how far he has come. So, let's dive in. Our beloved Jonathan was born on July 1st, 1974, and grew up in New York, specifically on Long Island. His background is such a beautiful mix of cultures. His dad is Egyptian with Syrian roots, and his mom is Irish. Clearly, that blend of Middle Eastern and Irish heritage gave him a unique identity, but I can argue that what really shaped his spirit was his faith. He was originally raised in the Greek Orthodox Church, but eventually converted to Roman Catholicism. And, as we know today, that decision would later become the very foundation of his life's mission and work. I don't know about you guys, but when I found out he studied film at the School of Visual Arts in New York City, it made so much sense to me. He always had a creative eye, but the thing is, he didn't set out to be in front of the camera. At first, he wanted to be behind the scenes. He was interested in animation and post-production. But somewhere along the way, he felt that nudge to act. So, like so many other dreamers, he packed up and moved to Los Angeles. The thing is, he was actually chasing a calling that he didn't fully understand at the time. Now, looking back, it all makes sense. Still, what gets me every time is how long he struggled. For years, he was just one of thousands of actors trying to catch a break. He landed small roles in a bunch of shows I've probably seen without realizing he was in them. You might have seen him on shows like Law and Order, Chicago Med, The Good Wife, and Castle. And honestly, I doubt any of you guys remember seeing him at all. Because, let's be honest, these were blink and you miss it kind of roles. So, needless to say, no one was stopping him on the street. No one knew his name. But Jonathan wasn't just looking for fame. I can tell that even then, what he really wanted was meaningful work. He was in search of something with depth. That's why he started leaning into faith-based projects. Did you know that he played Jesus before The Chosen ever came along? Yes, you heard it right. He was in short films and reenactments for a Catholic prayer app called the Jesus Prayer. He also portrayed Jesus in Faustina Messenger of Divine Mercy, which is a one-woman stage show that used his pre-recorded video scenes to bring the story of divine mercy to life. These roles might not have paid much, and I doubt they did, but I believe they spoke to his soul, leading him to search even more faith-based projects. He once said, "I had no money. I was nearly completely out of food and had enough in my account to last me about a week. I had no work in sight, and I was losing my health insurance." Well, I believe a lot of us have been there, or at least close to it. And we know very well that kind of desperation isn't just physical, it's in fact spiritual. He was also doing a lot of voice acting work on the side. He voiced characters in video games like Mafia 2, Evolve, and The Darkness 2. It's the kind of work that helps pay the bills, but doesn't exactly make you feel like you're living your purpose. So, he kept praying. He's talked about how he eventually hit a breaking point. In fact, there was one day where he had less than $20 in his bank account. No food, no work, and no idea what to do next. He said, "I literally laid my life and career at the foot of the cross and said, I can't do this anymore." Well, guess what? That single prayer changed everything for him, proving the power of praying once again. Shortly after that moment of surrender, he got a call to audition for The Chosen. It blows my mind how often breakthroughs come when we finally let go. But what's even more wild is that Jonathan had already worked with Dallas Jenkins before. Dallas had seen him play Jesus in those smaller projects. And when The Chosen was being developed, it was clear as day in Dallas's mind. Jonathan was Jesus, and there was no need to look for anyone else. I mean, if this is not divine intervention, I don't know what is. But let me know if you find this story as inspiring as I do. As I mentioned, at that time, Jonathan wasn't living a celebrity lifestyle. He wasn't hosting red carpet events or driving luxury cars. He was living modestly in Los Angeles, barely scraping by. Like, imagine his days were filled with voice auditions, odd jobs, and lots of prayer. That's basically the gist of it. And somehow, he kept going. He had no idea that he was just weeks away from stepping into a role that would change his life, and arguably millions of us, forever. The Chosen didn't just put Jonathan on the map, it gave him a platform to share his faith, his heart, and his story. But before any of that happened, he was just a man trying to honor God, survive another day, and use his gifts in whatever way he could, just like every single one of us. And the rest is simply history. For more weekly updates and analysis on Jonathan Roumie and The Chosen, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.